I think there's Nile Nickel. How are you, sir?
Well, I'm firing the frogs here.
Nile Nickel with us today. He joins us live here on the old Skip Skype, the old Skype-a-rooney. And so, Nile, there is a lot going on with technology, and there seems to be all sorts of things happening. So, what do you have for us this week?
Well, gosh, where do you begin? Bitcoin has been going crazy, and just yesterday, it had its biggest drop since March last year. It went up over 305%. So where
Wow.
everybody was boo-hooing Bitcoin before, Bitcoin now, one coin I think is still sitting at just about $34,000. A lot of money. So if you collected a few Bitcoins back in the day, uh, you might have just retired and not even know it yet.
See, I would like you to explain to us this Bitcoin stuff because I have a photographer, Michael Nagy, who lives out in New Jersey of all places, and he is crazy into this Bitcoin. He loves the crap out of this Bitcoin. He is always sending me all sorts of things online about how, oh my God, Bitcoin's doing this. I just made this much money. And I'm like, okay, did you really make that money? Or what is going on with this Bitcoin? Explain this to someone who knows nothing about this.
Well, let's just talk about currency first, because you
Okay.
have to talk about currency before you can talk about Bitcoin. So, what is the currency that we carry around in our pocket if we carry any? Like you've got $100 bill. What is that really?
Yeah.
Well, what that is it's just merely an item that we have all agreed to in the US, and for that matter many parts of the world, as to the value it holds. It's a piece of paper basically.
Yeah.
um, but we placed a value on it, and we use that as a currency of trade, if you will. Well, Bitcoin's a bit of the same thing. It's created by solving complex mathematical equations that do have value, but the flip side is it's a created thing for security. It's very hard to create, so it's not like people are knocking them off. And for that matter, unless you create it in the Bitcoin sort of journal, it's worthless anyway. So it allows you to track it over time. Interesting, interesting piece of things there. But literally, it's just a currency that is considered to be a worldwide currency. If the U.S. dollar goes up, that doesn't mean that Bitcoin goes up. The U.S. dollar goes down, doesn't mean Bitcoin goes down. And
Yeah.
obviously, same with all the other currencies in the world. So Bitcoin has just become that sort of standard, and it is the most popular sort of cryptocurrency, one that's not physically printed on paper. It's a code, if you will, um, that people have agreed to use. Simply, that's all it is. But all of the other things that come with currency, like exchange trading, some exchanges traded at different values than others, and there are people, in fact, I know a lot of them, that trade on the differences between the different trading platforms. Um, and boy, I know, gosh, a half dozen people or so personally that are making their living just off of Bitcoin trading.
It's amazing. It is Nile Nickel with us today. He joins us live here in our broadcast, and Nile Nickel is available on the old Twitter machine, and you can find him at Nile Nickel. And so, Nile, what else do you have for us?
You know, uh, if you're a billionaire, especially a tech billionaire in China, right now you don't have a good outcome. It seems. I don't know if you paid attention, but the guy Jack Ma that owns
Oh yeah, he's just vanished.
he's just vanished. He's worth somewhere around estimates $60 billion, and he criticized the Chinese government just a bit in October. Probably not a good thing to do. And then all of a sudden, he can't be found. And by the way, this seems to happen to a lot of Chinese businessmen that become wealthy. China just decides, well, you can't start to become big enough to start to challenge us. So what do we do? Well, ultimately, what they do is make you disappear. And flip side is they're then able to collect a lot of money that you left lying around. So
Yes.
we'll have to see if he resurfaces. But currently, he's a little bit lost, can't be found.
See, I saw a story on the Drudge Report where they were asking where he was, and I'm like, what? This guy's worth more. This guy's got more money than God. Where the hell did this guy go? So that's where he went. He criticized City Hall, as they say, and you can't find City Hall. So
City Hall. And by the way, I don't know if you're aware. There's been a lot of people trying to unionize in Google. It seems that Google has bought in some union busting firms, and
of course they have.
like they've fired an awful lot of people that were criticizing their attempts to unionize, or better yet, to promoting their attempts to unionize. And these employees, well, they didn't quite go missing like Jack Ma, but they're certainly missing from Google right now. So.
Nile Nickle with us today. You can find him on Twitter at Nile Nickle. He is a LinkedIn expert as well, and he joins us today here on our program. So what other fun techie stories do you have out there, or frightening stories like the Ma story?
Well, I think I told you a few weeks ago where Comcast came out with their plan to cap data that you were getting on your home internet plan.
Yes.
On an unlimited plan, right? But they were going to put a cap on that. Well, it hasn't set well with the Massachusetts lawmakers, and lo and behold, they are now after Comcast a bit. And Comcast is backpedaling
fantastic.
Just a bit, but they're saying, "Gosh, we've really got a plan that takes care of almost everybody." And they're trying to talk about how many hours of high definition video you could watch, or online video games, and gosh, not many people get above that. But they haven't got to the point yet where they're giving price relief. Now, by the way, this flies right in line with the net neutrality things that went away when the Trump administration came in.
Yes.
With the Biden administration coming in, net neutrality may be a thing again. And if it's a thing again, then, well, Comcast will have to give up this little plan. But we'll see how that goes. But right now, Comcast is still saying if you go over this mark, which is 1.2 terabytes of data per month, which, by the way, you could get to pretty easily.
Yes.
You really can. They're gonna charge you extra, and they'll have their discussions with the Massachusetts legislature in the meantime.
Yeah, the net neutrality thing. I remember when that was happening, and there was all sorts of people who were, oh, this will never happen, and it's all happened.
What do they say? Boom, there it is.
Nile Nickle with us today. You can get more information online. Nile Nickle is freely available on the Twitter machine, Nile Nickle. So wrap us up here, my friend. What other stories do you have for us?
Well, I talked about Jack Ma. He went missing from the face of the earth, it appears, because he criticized the Chinese government. Well, Julian Assange, you remember that name?
Yes, indeed.
Just earlier this week, it seems that a UK judge denied the US's request to extradite him. So he's going to sit in the UK for a while. The US is appealing it. But obviously, if you embarrass the US in the worldwide media, which Julian did a very good job of, they're trying to put him in jail for 175 years. I think we ought to just update that to a life sentence. But the flip side is the UK right now saying, yeah, maybe not so fast. So that battle's still ongoing.
That's good. Well, Nile, how do we find you online and get all the different stories and everything else, my friend?
Well, I always post all of the stories on Nile Nichols' Top Technology Tips on Facebook, soon to be coming to nilenickel.com. But nevertheless, and you could get me on the Twitter machine. I put them out there, but they're a little bit harder to find on Twitter. But certainly at Nile Nickel on Twitter, you could get me there as well.
Fantastic. Well, Nile, I appreciate you making time for us today, and we will talk to you soon. In fact, we'll talk to you next week. Thank you, my man.
Yeah, we'll have CES coming up, so we'll have all sorts of new technology
that'll be fun, because I believe that was the beginning of COVID-19 spreading the United States. So that'll be a fun chat. So
well, it'll be there. Well, Happy New Year to all, and we'll look forward to giving you all the new technology news and updates next week.
I will talk to you next week. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. There he goes. Nile Nickel, the amazing Nile Nickel. Yes, that Nile Nickel, as they say here on AMFM247.com. Tune in, iTunes. You can find us on Streama, whatever the hell that is. What the hell is a Streama? I don't know what a Streama does. I don't know what a Streama is. But apparently, there is this thing called Streama, and you can find us over there on AMFM247.com. So, that is that. That wraps it up here from our big program. And if you're listening to us on JiggyJaguar.com, thank you. If you're listening to us on the old the old place, the Fox that rocks. I don't know what that means. I don't know what it means to play us out. I don't know what it means. I've been in television for I don't know how long. Bill O'Reilly. He's always not knowing how to play us out. So we are going to do more next week here on AMFM247.com. We will see you next time. Peace, and I'm out of 5,000 kids.